Welcome to Massive Passive Cash Flow, the podcast that guides professionals to financial prosperity. Join our community and let's start building your wealth. Here's your host, Gary Wilson.
Welcome back to the Massive Passive Cash Flow podcast. I'm Gary Wilson, your host, and I'm so glad to have you back listening to the show. We have a great guest today, Michele Harrington from beautiful sunny Southern California. So Michele and I actually have a lot in common. We were just talking about being the roles of a leader, helping people build teams and build your own brand. So it's funny how we're both at the same place at the same time. And that's why I love the podcast, because this kind of thing happens regularly. And it's just like a little reflection from the universe, letting us know we're doing the right thing. So first of all, Michele, thank you for joining us. I know you're busy, so I really appreciate you taking the time to share with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Gary.
You got it. Hey, if you wouldn't mind, share a little bit about how you got to where you are, because, like most of us, we're not born saying, I'm going to be a real estate broker. We're mostly been saying, I'm going to be a doctor or a nurse, a helicopter pilot, whatever, But what was that pivotal moment for you? When did you know, like, what were you doing and what actually inspired you to move into real estate?
Yeah, so actually, I started off my career in the United States Marine Corps, and I was stationed out here at El Toro. And when it came time to re-enlist, and the decision was, did I want to be a Marine for the rest of my life, or did I want to do something else? And I really determined that I didn't want to work for anybody anymore. Like, 4 years in the Marine Corps really helped me see that I wanted more control over my own destiny. I wanted control over my money. I wanted to be able to, wear what I wanted, go when I wanted. The Marine Corps is very, very restrictive. And there's, times where they wouldn't let you have a car, or you couldn't live in certain places, or your nails couldn't be a certain length, or your hair couldn't be a certain color. So it was, I wanted freedom. And when I discovered what real estate could do for somebody like me, who was really hardworking but wanted a lot of freedom, it was a no-brainer.
Yeah, well, that's pretty awesome. We have a lot of listeners, by the way, who are either current or retired in military or reserves, and so obviously thank you for your service. And I've came up in a military family myself. I didn't serve, but I was probably one of the first ones. My dad actually talked me out of it, because I was going to join in 1981. And he said, no, he said, there's no reason to right now. I was going to join the Navy. And he said, the Navy's got the oldest computers of all four branches. Just be a civilian, enjoy life. Well, I ended up working for NASA at Langley Air Force Base. That was my first job. So I was in the military that indirectly. And then I tracked Soviet subs for the U.S. Navy out of Norfolk Naval Base. And that was my second gig. And I had a top secret clearance and all that. But at the end of the day, I did end up going in the private sector. And but I still, this people laugh because I still do my exercises every single day, like our dad taught us. I mean, push-ups, sit-ups, chin-ups, squats, the whole nine yards. And just like my dad's 87, he still does too. So it's in our
Nice.
blood. But
I
in any
love
case,
it.
enough about me. We're going to talk about you. So you're in is the brokerage you're in, is it called first team brokerage, or is the first team your team inside the brokerage?
First team is the brokerage, and we're the largest independent in Southern California. And Real Trends just came out today, or a couple of days ago, and we're the fourth largest in the state,
Nice.
overall brokerage. And I actually came to First Team because First Team bought my company. So I started a company called Star Real Estate, and First Team bought my company 6 years ago. And then I first became the broker, then I became the chief operating officer, and then last year I was promoted to CEO. So now I get to help 2,000 agents, whereas when I had my own brokerage, my small little brokerage, I was only helping about 150 agents. And so it's a different path, but really exciting, really fun.
Well, congratulations on your success. I know how hard it is to build a brokerage. I built my first one literally starting January 2008, when the recession was just nosediving. Everybody
Yeah.
thought I was nuts. We went to 50 agents very quickly, and then I did a merger with another big box company, and that's what put me on the path of trading all over the U.S. and Canada. So I've been where you are, all over the, Carlsbad and Oceanside, all the way up to, literally the Oregon coast. It would take me 5 or 6 months to teach in the state of California because there's so many offices and agents. I mean, LA County alone at the time had 100,000 agents. I don't know, whatever year, 10 years ago or something, um, but in any case, the fact that you've done what you've done, and I didn't realize First Team had 2,000 agents. That's actually sizable. That you guys are real players, and I'm sure everybody knows it too. Um, but so you're in a role of CEO. Um, what does that entail? Like, if I'm an agent listening to the podcast and I'm in, anywhere USA, and I've got the mindset. It's like most agents get to this point at some point. They learn how to produce. They're thinking, you know what? I know there's more. I bet you I can do way better if I do X. Break out on my own, build a brokerage like you and I did, build a team, whatever that is. But think about that mindset and kind of give a little description of what's possible. What are the options for an agent like that? What's possible for them? You know?
Yeah, it's really exciting because I feel like real estate has a bunch of different tracks you can take. You can take the agent track, you could take the team track, you could take the executive track, the management track, the investor track. Like there's so many different facets you can focus on. So that's really exciting. It is really hard to determine which way you want to go. I sold real estate. I only sold real estate for about 3 years before I determined I don't really like driving around buyers and having them lie to me and all that fun stuff. So
Yeah.
I thought I really want to build a company. I like it. I liked investing. I did a lot of investing at a very
Mhm.
young age in real estate because the commissions I made while I was in real estate compared to the money I made when I was in the Marine Corps, I really didn't know what to do with all the extra money. So I started investing in apartment buildings. And that was good. I mean, financially great, but really boring too.
Yeah.
So I thought building a company, how fun would that be? And I think it is fun. It's exciting for me to build things and to put the pieces in place like Legos, where you kind of have, all right, this is my foundation, this is my core belief, this is what my CRM is going to be, this is what my technology is going to be, this is, what I'm going to coach on, what I'm going to train on, am I going to go after new agents or seasoned agents? You can really kind of build something that you want to see and how you're going to be in your marketplace. And that was really exciting to me. And I love that part.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, with building a brokerage, the downturns could kill you literally.
Yeah.
So I had a fairly large brokerage when 2008 hit, and it
Mhm.
really wiped me out like completely. And
Yeah.
something I wasn't prepared for because I didn't realize that markets could, come to a screeching halt like that. And
Mhm.
but I learned my lesson and took the punch in the gut and started again from scratch. And um,
Mhm.
sometimes when I look at it, when I think of other people that are asking me the question, should I start a brokerage? Should I start a team? The brokerage is probably the least profitable thing to
Yeah.
start. It might be the most exciting because there's so many facets of it, ancillary services and, what you can tack on and how many agents you could have underneath your brand. But the team model is a much more profitable model. To keep it small and profitable, is definitely, now looking back on it, maybe that was the way to go. But,
Mhm.
unfortunately I was, off and running, shoot, ready, aim was always how I kind of operated. So
Yeah.
but I mean, I am where I am now, and I know I have all the knowledge I have now because of all of the mistakes that I made. So I think there are a ton of different ways you can go in this business. And I think really exploring that and deciding what you want to be when you grow up. I'm still deciding what I want to be when I grow up,
Yeah.
There's just a lot of opportunities in real estate.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is you know, my philosophy is this, and it's I think a lot of entrepreneurs who are a lot alike is I really still feel like the same person inside when I was in my teens and 20s. And I mean, even physically, I'm so active. I can't sit still. I mean, That's why when I go to California, I'm usually there, a lot, 4 to 6 months at a time. People assume that's where I live. Michelle, I still have my skateboard. It's a 3 foot cruiser. Now back east, people look at me like I'm some kind of crazy old man, but out there is normal. And so stay active, stay young. Don't grow up. Always keep life of exercise and adventure, exploration, and discovery. That's I don't keep it smiling. But what's interesting, back to your point though, having built now two teams for myself and a brokerage, I will to tell you. Now, at first, the brokerage was quite successful, but what happens is over time, you have less time for production because you're growing and you spend more time in management. And when you spend more time in management, you know, you you're going to hit like a ceiling. It happens to everybody. It's not unusual. But what happens is entrepreneurs sometimes get confused. Like, am I doing something wrong? Should I just go do something else? No, it's just a natural part of the growth of a business. And now it's time you can sell, you can merge, you can do what I did. I ended up I first had a team, then I had a brokerage. Then I went back to even having a team with a lot of the same people. And it is a lot easier because if you're a team leader, right, you can influence your team. You can have it, you can, basically determine the vision, the culture, the mission, the values that your team members live by. And you can bring in team members that match those things. But really the cool thing is you're able to let the brokerage take care of the operation side, which is huge. You don't have to
Mhm.
worry so much
And the
about,
liability.
liability, compliance, commission disbursement, transaction management, all this stuff. You know, I mean, let those people do that. And when I finally realized that, I was like, now I'm going gangbusters. So that's when I went nationwide. I'm like, holy crap. I finally got it figured out. Took a long time because I've got the thick Irish skull. And unlike you smart Marines, I came from an Army family. So our skull is probably a little bit, we're not as smart as you guys. But so it took me longer to learn that lesson. So in any case, let's talk about teams then. So inside of first team, is there a pathway for someone to come in and like build their own vision? Like I know we have to follow all the federal law, state law, and local law, and also first team's going to have its own, you know, sort of a process to follow. But inside that, are they allowed to be creative and innovative and let them flex their creative genes? Kind of tell us about that a little bit, if you don't mind.
Yeah, actually, the funny thing is, I think I learn more from our teams than I teach our teams. I really
Mhm.
learn how they are so innovative. They are so ambitious. Especially these teams that are coming up right now. They're not,
Mhm.
this is my second career or my retirement career type of agents that are coming up now. These are, I'm going to make a sustainable business out of this. These are the type of agents that we're seeing come into the business now. And they want to
Yeah.
grow teams and they want to train and coach and feed leads. And they're innovative. And I've learned over the past 5 years since this team kind of phenomenon has been happening
Mhm.
that they're the best in our ecosystem because like you said, we can handle the liability, we can handle the accounting, we can handle the procedures and the contracts and everything like that, and let them do what they do best, holding their team accountable, coaching, training. And it's really a great mix. So I think like I live for helping my teams grow and helping my teams become better entrepreneurs and business people because I
Mhm.
love the people in this industry that treat it like a business. It kind of drives me crazy, the people in this business that, do the 1 or 2 deals a year that kind of just do it on the side. That drives me nuts. I don't want that in our business. I want the people that have a career, that have a business they're growing, that are ambitious, and that are willing to think outside the box and teach me things I don't know. I'm always learning.
Yeah.
And so it's exciting to have these up and comers now. It
Mhm.
motivates me. It motivates me to be a better leader. It motivates me to, know more. And so
Yeah.
I think when you always are surrounding yourself with people like that, those ambitious, go-getters, then you're going to
Yeah.
be an ambitious go-getter. So I love the
Yeah.
idea of the teams, and I try to have as many of them as I can in our offices.
Did you know that you can participate in class every Monday? We call it Monday Night Live, 7 p.m. Eastern, with me and dozens of other investor agents from around the country, in fact, the world. Every Monday, totally free. No selling, no recruiting, just straight up education on anything and everything in real estate. And we have a lot of good guests coming on once or twice a month, bringing in expertise on subjects like how to buy a house with crypto. Okay. How about them apples? What about AI? How's AI affecting our business? How about the metaverse, blockchain processing? We're already using it in title work. So come on to Monday Night Live, be ready to take notes and ask questions because it's live and engaging, and you get to participate by asking questions and meeting others. So we'll see you there. Go to realestatewithgarywilson.com, click on the resource tab, drop down, and you'll see Monday Night Live. And in there, you can see one of the most recent classes. But more importantly, you can register for class as many as you want going up to like the end of the year, I believe. So in any case, do that. We'll see you on Monday Night Live. Look forward to meeting you in person. Take care. Yeah. The energy is absolutely contagious. I mean, we thrive on energy, and when you're with a person who's operating at a high level of energy, it's hard to not be lifted up yourself. But now within that construct, a lot of people I'm sure ask you, just like they asked me too, I want to build a team. I don't know where to start. Like, what's my first hire? What's the team structure? Am I still in production? All these things, but it is a process. It's like a ladder. You take one step at a time, and by the time you get to the third, fourth, fifth step, you realize you're no longer in production. You're leading people, but to get there is a real process. And just like you and I, they're making their decisions for the first time in their journey. So the more they do that, the better they get at it. But in any case, so back to the beginning, do you have do you see team structure as being somewhat open and fluid based on the team leader's personality, mission, and their vision? Or is it really more there's like a set of fundamentals that really apply, to most teams? Like, hey, you definitely got to have you need an admin person right out of the gate. You need buyer's agent. Can you touch on that a little bit? Help give people some insight. Because one thing to see is this is absolutely doable.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think if you have a brokerage that supports you with administrative stuff, you don't need to hire an administrative person right off the bat. But I think there's a couple different ways that teams operate really well, but they're not the same ways. Like there's the teams that are lead generation teams like Zillow Flex and, Homelight and stuff like that. And they're feeding leads, they're high accountability teams, their overhead's much higher. So it is something that you need to scale quickly and have, like, you're going to have a lot more agents on your team, and you're really going to have to be picky about who you hire, and you're going to have to be really quick to fire the agents because you're paying for those leads. And if they're wasting them, then they need to go. But you don't have to have, like, a lot of people think I need to have lead generation in order to start my team. And that's not true. I've seen very successful teams that are just coaching training teams. They meet with their team on Monday and they role play. They meet with them on Tuesday and they, go over scripts and dialogues. They meet with them on Wednesday and they're doing, a training on something else, or they're, asking their team or telling their team that you need to go to first team's training on Wednesday. And then Thursday, we're going to meet again and we're going to have one-on-ones or whatever. So now I feel like the real estate business is a very lonely business because it's filled with entrepreneurs and you're all kind of scattered all over the place. The team model helps you not just with like structure and accountability, but it helps you feel like you're part of a family. And I really feel like agents want that right now, and especially when the market's slower. They want accountability, they want structure, they want a family. You can start a team and not be a lead generation machine. You can start a team if you're willing to devote time into helping your team members become successful. Now, if you're all about you and you don't have a whole lot of patience, then a team probably isn't for you, and then just be an individual agent. But if you really want to help other people grow and that excites you, is seeing somebody else be successful, then a team might be something you can do. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like one way. There's a lot of different ways to start a team.
Yeah. Well, my team actually it's an education-based team. In fact, our motto is the right education plus the right information plus the right action equals right results. And the cool thing about the right education is it shows you how to get and use the right information, but it helps people build confidence. Um, it's just, to me, it's the difference between giving people a fish and teaching people how to fish. Now, I'll be the first to admit, sometimes people just need a darn fish. It's hard to teach somebody how to fish if they're starving to death. So, we have organic leads coming in regularly, through all the podcasts and blogs and all the social media stuff. And we have three, you know, employees that do nothing but that just on behalf of the team. But the real crux of it is long term is I want these guys to be independent. They should be able to pick up and go anywhere they want or build their own thing if they want to build their own thing. And it's crazy because most of the people listening think, well, Gary, I don't want that. I want to keep it all. I want to build my team. It's the Gary Wilson team and et cetera, et cetera. And I get all that. But what you'll find is you're gonna hit a ceiling because you're gonna be it's a location based model. In other words, you're wherever you are in your location, and your market's only gonna be but so big, and you can carve a big market share. I'm not saying you can't make money doing that, but if you do it the other way, you're able to spread your reach far further or wider. Like your brokers is in California. I'm pretty sure you probably have a few people that are down where you are, like the physical location, that can also operate up in like Big Bear or Temecula and Palm Springs, wherever, even up over the valley into Palmdale and some of those growing places. I mean, are you seeing that, by the way? Do you have agents that are operating in multiple markets?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we have like the
Awesome.
expansion team model where we'll have somebody who's in, South Orange County, but they have a team in Temecula or a team in,
Mhm.
Beverly Hills and, or even one agent, in different markets because they're getting leads or they're, either or they're getting leads in those markets. And so they
Mhm.
need agents in those markets, or they just have agents in those markets that really relate to their training and their coaching and want to be on their team. So we have teams that are like very spread out across Southern California.
Nice. Well, it's interesting, and I obviously, I've spent a lot of time out there. Um, if you look at the a satellite view of the highway system, especially, and if you've driven on it, you can look at a map and think, I'm in LA, I'm going to get to Riverside in an hour and a half. And like, no, you're not. I don't care if it's Sunday morning. You're looking at 2.5 hours or something. But what's
Yeah.
cool about having team that's in multiple locations is you're not now required to drive all these long distances. You've got people there, feet on the ground. And with technology, cell phones, Zoom, I mean, it's just amazing the way we can communicate the information so much more readily available. The technology is just phenomenal. I'm a huge proponent of. I had this vision in 2009. I just didn't know how to carry it out. I was trying to do the old-fashioned model, the old franchise model. I'm going to grow, one office at a time. And if I was still doing that, I'd still be in 3 states. But here we're in 38 states doing what you were describing there. So it really not only possible, I think it's necessary for growth. Plus, think of your clients. You know, they may live in Beverly Hills, but they may be investing in some of these other areas. Isn't it nice for them to know they've got a team member that's following the same system, the same protocol? It's like Marriott. I know when I go to
Mhm.
Marriott exactly what it's going to look like. I know exactly what it's going to cost, and I like that. I like that. Sure, I know when something works, I want to keep using that thing that works. Well, I tell you what. Let's. I want to kind of talk about the marketplace for a moment, if you don't mind. I'm lucky because I've been out there quite a bit and understand the market dynamics, but most people don't. All they see is what they see on the news, which is a small, tiny piece of what the reality is out there. It's a beautiful place. California is just amazing. I mean, if you like the outdoors, yeah, I'm terrible at surfing, but I can surf in the morning. I can swim in my pool in the afternoon and go skiing at Big Bear at night. You can't do that anywhere else in the US. But
Yeah.
market wise, what are you seeing out there now? Is inventory starting to loosen up? If days on market starting to extend, is it normalizing, or kind of give us a paint a picture if you don't mind?
Yeah, so inventory is still really tight out here.
Mhm.
The one thing that we have out here that a lot of states don't have is we have that kind of fixed property tax where it's based on when you buy it and then it doesn't go up very much after that. So there's a lot of people that are very tied into their, low interest rate, low property tax bill and don't move. So inventory's always been a struggle in California. And, it's definitely more of a struggle now with interest rates being as high as they are. So that's kind of like the good and the bad. The good thing is like prices they're not going to come down in not in Southern California. They're going to keep going up, and it makes affordability very, very difficult. So, like my kids, I have 5 kids. And when I think about where are they going to live, can they live in California? And all parents are thinking this right now. Like, can my kids afford to live in California? That's definitely a problem. And we do have more, I would say more than 60% of our sales are people moving out of California. And it's really, like you said, a beautiful place, great weather, beaches and sun, and there's no better weather in the country, but it is highly unaffordable. The good thing for real estate agents is our average commission is like, $25,000 because, we're in such a great, place where when I first got in the business, my first commission was like $4,000. So you can make a lot of money in Southern California real estate because the prices are so high. But the bad news is you might not have a place for your kids to live. So there's the catch, everything has its ups and downs. It's a great place to be a real estate agent. It's a tough place for other people to live though. So, but yeah, in general, our supply is still very restricted, and I don't see that changing. It loosens up at times, for a little bit, but it's always been a problem. Building in California is damn near impossible. And we talk a lot at the California Association of Realtors about housing affordability and why do we not have enough housing? And I tell you why we don't have enough housing. The California state government is so up the asses of any builder or any person who wants to build that it is damn near impossible to build. It is, they put all these restrictions on the land you can build on. Environmental crazies are all over the place. And then you have to have like solar on your house, and you have to have electric charging station, and you have to have, these other things that make it really expensive. So, and you're in lawsuits because of CEQA, the California Environmental Quality Act, so you're in lawsuits for years and years before you build. So by the time you even break ground for a builder, like of a development, you're millions of dollars in the hole already. And if you're a person, like a regular person, by the time you break ground, you're hundreds of thousands of dollars in the hole already. So, so California is a great place to live. I love the weather. I love the sun. It's difficult because of those things.
Yeah. So I guess the alternative is do like I do, do the family plan. Go visit family out in California. That's literally I will go out there because I've got family all the way up in Redding and out in Santa Rosa, down in Santa Cruz, and friends in Ojai, and of course family down in La Jolla. So I can literally travel the whole coast, and I don't always stay with family. I'm usually working, so I'm staying at Marriott, But I really do enjoy it, and I know that I know it's tough, even for investors. I've had investors say I just can't afford it, and I'm like, man, there's always a way. For whatever market we're in, there's a strategy or strategies for the market. It's just a matter of, networking with the people who understand the strategies and can help you through the maze. I mean, there's commercial lenders that are used to creative purchasing strategies, particularly in California, because you have to. But if you can do it and just tap in, even something small, do fractional ownership with 12 other people, buy something just to lock in. There's guys listening here.
Because
Remember Michelle said this.
Our appreciation here is incredible, So I invest in vineyards. The vineyard behind me is one of our vineyards. And I like vineyards because I love wine, and you don't have any tenants. My tenants are my vines and my grapes. So so there's definitely investment opportunities. You just have to think outside the box.
Exactly. Well, I'll tell you what, I know we're getting close on time. I knew this was going to go fast. If you could, let's share some contact information with people, because it's, where you are. How far are you from San Diego and Coronado? Is that driving,
Yeah, about an hour and 20 minutes north.
Okay. Because obviously you've got a couple big military bases there at Camp Pendleton, and San Diego is an amazing city. It's not nearly as big as LA, but it's big enough. Hopefully, it won't get too big. And there are some outlying areas where the prices aren't nearly as high as down by the coast, like La Jolla, for example. I'm just blown away by the prices are. But you know
Oh
what?
gosh, yeah.
It's crazy. But let me look. That was so. What's a good website for first team there?
So firstteam.com, and my
Okay.
email address is Michele Harrington, Michelle with one L at firstteam.com. If anybody wants to get in touch with me, you find me on Instagram at Michelle Williams Harrington, Michelle with one L, like I said. And
Okay.
my website is michellewilliamsharrington.com. So I
Okay.
write, I do blog articles, I do videos. I'm always trying to coach and help people become better agents. So that's what I do.
That's awesome. So the blog, you can get it on the website.
Yes. Yes.
Cool.
If you go to
Okay.
the website, then everything's attached there.
Videos too. They can get videos there on the website.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So everybody remember this, two websites, firstteam.com and michellewilliamsharrington.com, Michelle with one L. Okay. Before we sign off, Michelle, any final words of wisdom, something that I didn't think to ask about that you think people should know, or could be something you learned from the Marines, or maybe something from your grandmom or granddad, you know?
Well, I think the best thing I learned in the Marine Corps was how to really be disciplined and make sure that you're creating great habits. And in this industry where we're kind of like, shiny penny syndrome and all over the place at times, it really is important to kind of double down on the things that are really going to move the needle, the 20%, not the 80% of, going onto Canva and creating your next flyer, but the 20% of prospecting and doing the things you need to do to really be successful. So I think learning how to be really disciplined and investing in yourself and focusing on your 20%, that's the most important thing in this industry if you want to really make it a great career.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Well, listen, thank you again. I mean, it's a big gift, and I knew when I got your email or the response about being on the podcast through Facebook, I was like excited, and just researching a little bit. I know you got a big heart because you got to have a big heart. You got to love people to do what you're doing. And but guys, I just want to tell you, let Michelle be an inspiration for you. You can do it. She's done it. I've done it. If you've got that servant's heart and you love people, you like the fulfillment from helping others succeed, I'm telling you, this is a great way to do it. Just stay plugged into the podcast. Thank you for listening to the podcast, by the way. Oh, please leave a review. Should have mentioned that earlier. Please leave a review for this podcast. It helps Michelle. It helps me. Doesn't cost anything. It's just the way the podcast world is. We need to have those reviews to make the whole thing go around. And it's community based, community oriented, and we love to do it. We love helping, giving you good information. So we appreciate that. And in any case, take care of yourselves. God bless you and your families, and we will see you on the next Massive Passive Cash Flow podcast.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Massive Passive Cash Flow. Be sure to go to realestatewithgarywilson.com to join our community and start building wealth today.